There's our intro music that we like to hear. Coming to you live from $1 Million Studios, your boys, Chris Speez,
a.k.a. White is Right,
and the benchmark of professional wrestling, Mr. Silky Baines. Jumping ahead, clicking on shit I'm not supposed to be clicking on.
One job, Speez. One fucking job.
Speez in the Benchmark. You know what I did tonight, Silky? Speaking of my one job, Speez in the Benchmark show. Welcome. Good to have you here with us on Twitch. I jumped on Periscope a few minutes ago just to tell all our Periscope people, hey, we haven't forgotten about you. We're still around. We're over on Twitch. Come join us over on Twitch. So hopefully more of those folks will be heading this way. But we shall see. Even if they don't, we're happy to have those of you who are here with us now. If you're new to the program, we hope you will follow the channel here on Twitch. And you can also become a subscriber for as little as $4.99 a month. You can also subscribe at $9.99 or $24.99 if you're big money spender like that.
And if you're a broke bitch, free $99.
That's exactly right.
Amazon Prime.
With the Amazon Prime. All that information is scrolling down below. Shout out to Mr. AEW. You can also help us by dropping those bits or leaving a tip at the tip jar. tinyurl.com/SB tip jar. Tell them why, Silky.
Because these bills need to get paid.
Indeed they do. And as always, we welcome your entry into the conversation here by giving us a call on the phone lines if you like. 832-937-4559 is the number to get in.
That's 832-93-SILKY.
832-93-SILKY. We're going to be talking a little Jon Moxley here tonight. He appeared on the Talk is Jericho podcast to discuss his departure from WWE and what to expect now that he's a part of All Elite Wrestling. Some very, very interesting stuff that he said on Chris Jericho's podcast. We've also got NXT Takeover XXV coming up this Saturday from Connecticut. So we'll break down those matches for you. And as always, Wednesday nights means the top 5 wrestlers of the week, according to our very own Silky Baines, this week's Benchmark Power Rankings. So we got another full show coming for you here tonight. So welcome to all of you guys as we are slowly but surely streaming in tonight. We got going a little bit later than normal this week. But, Silky's got to work.
Yep.
Got to earn that bread.
Paper. Cheddar.
And then this guy didn't even buy the car.
I know. Fucking asshole, man. Fucking came back. This motherfucker's been called like 4 different dealerships. But on a good note, I moved stick shift, which I think I've told you. No clue how to drive that motherfucker.
Yeah, Silky is not a standard car driver.
No. I mean, I know enough to move it from where it is to where I show it and back. So I only stopped it once.
And you successfully made that move tonight with only one.
Well, I mean, success is relative because, I did stop it once or so.
And by stop, you mean killed the engine?
Yes, I did. I panicked. It's too much stuff going on.
Well, that's okay. Sometimes it happens. But you're getting there, man.
I'm getting there.
Slowly but surely, you're getting there. Cheer 100. Hi, Silky and Speez. Hope you guys had a great Memorial Day. We did, Bill.
I did.
Thank you very much.
I was at work all day.
Oh, well, yeah, Silky had to work.
Yeah, I made some money, so.
You made some money, and you can't complain about that. So, like I said, we got a lot of good stuff to get to this evening. We're going to dive right in with the Jon Moxley conversation. Now, Silky, I know you haven't had a chance to listen to a lot of this, but some interesting insight, particularly into the WWE's creative process from Jon Moxley on the Talk is Jericho podcast. Now, those of you who know anything about podcasts know you can find Chris Jericho's podcast just about anywhere. Mm-hmm. But some very interesting takes from Mr. Moxley, and so we wanted to share a couple of those with you and get your thoughts as to what Jon Moxley had to say about his time in WWE. So we're going to start with his chatting about some of the goofy things that they had him doing, particularly in his comeback from injury and things like that, and just how he wasn't really feeling it. I think these quotes really speak for themselves, so we'll just go through a few of the highlights here at the top. So this is Jon Moxley on the Talk is Jericho podcast saying, quote, "I remember physically leaning on a road case and feeling actual exhaustion. Like emotional, physical, mental exhaustion. Not so much because of that day, but because of 6 years of this." And when he's talking about that day, he mentioned about how he had a problem with one of the goofy things that they had his character doing. And basically, when you have a problem with these things, you discuss it with the writer. And if you can't figure it out with the writer, then you have to go directly to Vince. And everything runs through Vince. And we've heard this for a long time. Mm-hmm. Moxley pretty much let us know for a fact that this is the case. And he went on to talk about how when he was recovering from injury, one of the things he did is he watched a lot of concerts. Because he's a big music fan, watched a lot of concerts. And he said seeing these guys up on stage, just kind of improvising, doing their own thing, working with the crowd, so on and so forth. He really loves to watch that kind of thing. But at the same time, it got him to thinking. Now we'll go back to what Moxley had to say. Quote, I remember thinking, getting a little sad because I was like, I haven't felt that way in a long time. So I think that's where the seed was planted, because I'm thinking I'm just shackled in WWE. He went on later to talk about his actual departure and the discussion that he had with both Triple H and Vince McMahon. He said, quote, this is not a decision I came to fast or lightly. This has been a long time coming. I'm not going to change my mind. This is not about any one particular thing. This is not an emotional decision. This is happening. I'm leaving, and it's okay. And finally, when talking about what he has to prove, if anything, now that he's gone, quote, if I have something to prove, it's that I want to prove that your creative process, the WWE's creative process, sucks. It doesn't work. It's absolutely terrible. So, Silky Baines, we've heard a lot of guys say this over the years. Mm-hmm. And I will say this. At times, it seems like some of the guys that have spoken out, CM Punk obviously being the most notorious of all of them, you could argue that these guys have somewhat of an axe to grind with WWE now that they're not there anymore. Mm-hmm. I didn't get that sense from what Jon Moxley had to say. He basically said, look, I'm grateful for the time that I had in WWE, but they have a certain way of doing things, and that way of doing things just didn't work for me anymore. So now I want to move on. How much of a bombshell is this that we're hearing this from a guy like a Jon Moxley, who was a pretty damn big star in WWE? What do you think?
I think that at the end of the day, I mean, if you're not happy, you're not happy. I mean, I totally respect. I mean, you could say, I guess he's bashing because he was like, creative sucks, but I mean, that's his opinion. I mean, he was talking to a fucking plant. So, I mean, there's a lot of basis to that. That's not just random people who weren't as good enough to get a big push and felt like creative sucked because they never had anything for him.
Right.
This is a guy who was on top at one point, the WWE champion, and decided and just had enough.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. Again, there are some guys that, like I said, it seems like they have an axe to grind. And for all of the things that he said about WWE when he was talking, sorry, gang, just sharing the link out here on the Twitters. Make sure that everybody knows that we are live right now. So it's funny to hear these guys because they'll talk about WWE in a fairly negative light, but they're always very careful to say, I'm really grateful for my time at WWE. I wouldn't be where I was if not for those guys, and blah, blah, blah. It's funny how they always leave the door open for the possible comeback later on.
Oh yeah, you never burn bridges.
Yeah, and
that's just in life. That's not just wrestling. I mean, in life, you don't want to burn a bridge because you never know. AEW, which I doubt it, but AEW could go belly up tomorrow.
It's true.
And then what are you going to do? You got to go back to WWE. You can't go to Impact. You can't go. I mean, you can make a good living going to Ring of Honor, but those are, again, different styles than what Moxley works.
And he's going to New Japan. We know that now as well. He's also going to be working with some New Japan stuff. Shout out Bob Ruski and Get the Tables. Bill says when you're not happy, it just becomes a job. That's absolutely right. True. It's absolutely right. I will say, I know a lot of people give him credit for basically saying it doesn't matter what they were going to pay me. I was leaving.
Yeah.
And he said, they gave me a contract. I didn't even look at the contract. I just said, thanks, but no thanks. And and this is not to knock Jon Moxley, and I certainly don't mean for it to sound that way. While I appreciate, look at Get the Tables coming strong with 1,000 bits.
Boom.
Boom. Get the Tables. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We appreciate that. It's a hell of a lot easier, and Moxley even said it. He said, look, suppose they gave me Brock Lesnar money. What if they gave me $10 million? He's like, my house is paid off. My truck is paid off. My mom's house is paid off. What the hell do I need the money for? And what I was going to say was, we praise people for saying, oh, well, he turned down all this money. Good for him. That's great. It's easy for people who have a lot of money to turn down a lot of money. So
I turned down shit.
I'm a little bit, I'm not going to jump into that praising him that much for that. Again, not knocking the guy or anything like that. But let me ask you this, and let's get to some of the chats here. First of all, shout out to all you guys, slowly but surely rolling in here. Yeah, Bob Ruski, now let's bury them for the next 2 hours, which is basically what he said. He said, I'm very grateful for WWE, blah, blah, blah. Now let's bury him for the next 2 hours. Gino Fan didn't get the notification. That's what I figured. That's okay, guys. We'll get you guys caught up here. AEW says, for the first time, it really hit me what he said. I had to go into this old man's office and explain to him why this is a stupid idea. Man, just imagine your grandfather in charge of writing dialogue for you to say on live TV and you can't change his mind. Which is pretty much what he was saying. Hello to you, Alice. Foz, good to see you. And Gino Fan, thank you very much. Moxley's interview was a real eye-opener. Yeah, I totally agree. Get the Tables. It was very interesting. So I guess the next question to ask Silky is, now that this is out there, and again, I'm not so sure that anything that Moxley said is groundbreaking. I mean, this is stuff that we've heard quite a bit. 2 questions. Number one, does this change anything for as far as the WWE is concerned? Could this be a thing where Vince McMahon looks at a guy who was a very good wrestler for him? I don't want to say one of his top stars, but he was certainly a star and certainly had a great run while he was there. Does this message get through to anybody, and specifically Vince McMahon at WWE, and maybe make him take a step back and say, maybe I ought to reconsider how I'm doing things?
Let me ask you a question. In this scenario, is he still a multi-billionaire?
He is still a multi-billionaire from what I know.
Then no, not at all.
No.
Not at all. I mean, the thing is, he's going to make money regardless, being Vince McMahon. So he doesn't have to change, because what he's doing has been working for years for him. And people are still going to watch WWE. There's still going to be people like us and Get the Tables, that talk about stuff that's happening in WWE. So at that point, why would he change? It's kind of like the Better Rice syndrome. You keep going back, it gives him no reason to change.
It's I don't know that it gets through to Vince.
It doesn't.
At this point in time.
It doesn't.
He's
It's
just
never
not going
to get
anywhere.
through to him.
And that's what Moxley said. He said, look, and he's talking to Jericho, another guy who went through it. He said, look, we know Vince is going to die in that chair. Like, he's still going to be sitting in that chair at that table at that production meeting up until the day he dies. And that's just the way it's going to be. So I don't know that Vince is going to change anything. Now, here's my next question. Does it change anything for the other guys who are there? Does this maybe say to other superstars who are unhappy, hey, look, here's a guy who talked about being depressed, who talked about being extremely unhappy, who, to his credit, did it the right way, finished out the rest of his contract, and then when the time came, moved on and did something different. Could we see this as being the start of something where people hear a guy like Moxley going on to greener pastures and seemingly very happy with his decision? Do you think that this maybe starts that exodus that a lot of people have predicted was going to happen, with other stars leaving WWE and going on to whether it be AEW or New Japan or something else?
No.
You don't think that's happening either?
No, because, I mean, the thing with Moxley is like he was saying, all of his stuff is he's apparently he saved his money. He did the right thing. So he has that leverage where he can do that. some of these people, one, they didn't make the money that Jon Moxley was making.
No.
A lot of them didn't make the money that Jon Moxley was making. So to leave that guarantee, which is still for, even if you're, and let's put it in perspective, these motherfuckers probably even on the lower tier are still getting paid like a couple $100,000 a year.
Oh, at least.
At least.
And thank you, Lizzie Freak, for the follow. We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So at least a couple $100,000 a year. So, I mean, you're not going to walk away from that. Have to see, because you're not getting that at Impact, and it's no knock to them, even though I knock them a lot. But just no knock to them.
You're not getting that kind of money, no.
You're not getting that there. You're not getting that Ring of Honor. Only other place you could possibly get it is AEW, but I'd venture to say if you're of that ilk that you're only making a couple $100,000 a year, AEW don't fucking want you.
Could be.
Like, you're probably going to make it 50 or I won't. That's probably bigger, but maybe like $100,000 a year. So now you're making even less money to be part of what people think is cool. So I don't think you have to be of a certain stature in the company and have, saved your money right so you can do something like that.
Mr. AEW says, put this podcast on AEW's first show on TNT and it will bury WWE. I don't think it's going to bury WWE. I think the people that don't give a shit about AEW still don't give a shit about AEW after this interview, and will probably chalk this up to exactly what I don't think is the case, that Moxley has just got an axe to grind and he's no longer part of the company, so he's going to say whatever he wants to say.
But think about it. That's how the general world works. We've all had jobs that we fucking left for one reason or another and that we weren't happy at. And what do? We talked shit about it.
Well, and here's the thing.
No one leaves a fucking job that you're unhappy with, and then just goes on to be like, oh, this was the greatest job ever. Because then if it was, why the fuck did you leave?
Yeah, exactly right. For those of you joining us late, again, the gist of the interview with Chris Jericho on the Talk is Jericho podcast was Moxley's unhappiness with the creative process in WWE. So for those of you that joined us late, I just want to get to this last quote that we took from the podcast that dropped earlier today. He said, quote, "If I have something to prove..."
You read that already.
I know. I said I'm going to read it again for those who are joining us late. Silky, okay. Do you listen to what I'm saying when I'm talking, Silky? Now I got to come back here to argue with you, and then I'm going to go back and read the fucking... I said for the people who are joining us late, stop interrupting. If I have something to prove, it's that I want to prove that your creative process, the WWE's creative process, sucks. It doesn't work. It's absolutely terrible. So again, he talked about going into Vince McMahon's office and having the discussion with him about how he wasn't going to come back. And he said it got very emotional on both sides. And not emotional like they were angry with each other, but emotional like this has been a good relationship for both of us. And again, he didn't bury WWE. He said he was very grateful for his time there. He said it put me in a unique position because now it's like I'm 21 years old all over again. Mm-hmm. But instead of starting from ground zero, everybody knows who I am. Yeah. Thanks to WWE. So I can pretty much go do whatever the hell I want.
True.
And he's right in that regard. Alice says Vince McMahon needs to let Shane and Stephanie and Triple H run the company. Babaruski says Moxley was fucking used on TV. Motherfuckers can't on TV. That is part of the issue with them leaving. And hello to Jody Mania. Good to have you here. Vince McMahon isn't playing a character on TV. He's a complete piece of shit, says Mr. AEW. Yeah, Jody Mania was a great interview for sure. Ravensblood says AEW isn't just going to sign every reject from WWE. They don't want to be Impact 2.0.
That is true.
We certainly hope not. Babaruski says nobody has such a fucking wacko of a boss like Vince K. McMahon. Moxley is no reject. Agreed. And I don't think Ravensblood was saying he's a reject. But
I think that kind of goes back to the point I was making of other talent who aren't on that level of Moxley leaving. I think that's what that has to do with.
Yeah, like we were talking about, is this going to be some kind of mass exodus? Well, I think a lot of those people are in for a rude awakening if they think they can just walk from from WWE, and AEW is going to say, "Yeah, come on over, sure, we'll take all you guys."
Yeah,
maybe not.
Your ears.
Yeah, Bob Ruski says so. Basically, knocking on Vince's door does shit for you in creative. That was the eye opener to me. Was just the process of having this writer that was presenting you with information and you saying, this is fucking dumb, I'm not going to say that. And the writer kind of going back and forth and trying to figure it out. And then if you couldn't get to a point where you agreed, then it's literally like walking to the fucking principal's office. They would have to go sit outside Vince McMahon's office and wait until he was ready to see them and then go in there and try to convince him this is stupid and I shouldn't be saying this. And it really is.
Somehow we still got, what was it, Harold or Melvin? Whatever, the fucking plant. We still got that. That slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, one of the other quotes I didn't end up putting in here, but he talked about feeling bad about the jab that he took at Roman Reigns for having leukemia in the one promo. And apparently there was another one that he was supposed to say in a later promo that he said he wouldn't even say it on the air. He said, it was so bad, I'm not even going to say it here on the air. But let's just put it this way. It would have cost WWE sponsors. Susan G. Komen would have been up their ass because it was just an absolutely horrible thing to say. And thankfully, he got out of that one. He said, look, I'm not doing that one. But apparently it was bad enough to where he didn't even feel, he just felt grimy even saying it after the fact on this podcast. Yeah. So you know it's not good. But it's such good shit. Yeah, exactly. That was his Vince impression. Every time he went and told Vince something was stupid, he's like, oh, that's such good shit. It's good shit. It's right in your character. It's just good shit. Vince, or a writer he doesn't know, gave him a line so fucked about Roman's cancer, there it is, that Mox outright refused to say it. That's what we were talking about, Mr. AEW. That whole process with the writers and Vince sounds extremely nerve-wracking. I can only imagine. Yeah, he said he would just get this feeling in his gut. Like, he just felt sick to his stomach. And I've had that feeling, and it is a very fucking unpleasant feeling. Like, one of my teaching gigs, I taught at a shit school with a shit administration and shit kids. And every time I pulled in that parking lot, it's like my stomach just dropped. It was like, oh, this is going to be fucking miserable. Mitch was the name of the plant. Thank you, Raven's Blood.
Somehow that got through.
Bill says, a Bo Dallas going to AEW? No chance in hell. Vince is so freaking hard-headed. He's destroying himself. That's true. Anyway, I'm with you, Silk. I don't think that this is going to bring about any major change on Vince's part. Mm-hmm. But Vince can't live forever.
No, he can't.
And hopefully whoever it is that takes over when he's gone.
Not whoever. We know who's taking over the company.
Well, Triple H. I mean, you got to think it's going to be Triple H in some regard. Maybe not in charge of the company itself, but in charge of the creative.
Yeah.
It seems like. He seems like the type of guy that would not necessarily just kowtow to everything that somebody like a Jon Moxley is saying, but at least be conscious enough to listen and think about it and maybe take a look at what they're doing and say, there's probably some things that we can do better. Would you say that's the case, or do you think Triple H is going to be more of the same?
I think it's going to be more of the same, honestly. I mean, well,
because you're in the minority on that one. Everybody seems to think that when Triple H takes over, it's all fucking snow cones and blowjobs, man. It's just going to be fucking awesome, and everything's going to be great, and WWE is going to be fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I think that it's going to be more of the same because at the end of the day, you have one person who's still a person who's been in the business for a considerable amount of time. So they're going to lean on the fact that, hey, I got to this point because I know what the fuck I'm doing. And sometimes, I mean, as someone who books and has to deal with younger talent that may question what they're doing, is like, I know where I'm going with this. And you're not privy to all the information. So, I mean, and I'm not trying to defend the fact that, he went out and talked to a fucking plant or something like that. Like they had some greater, it was a big Machiavellian plan that had a greater good at the end. Sometimes shit is just shit. You know what I mean? Sometimes that happens. But, at the end of the day, I don't think it changes because if, fucking Tyler Breeze goes to Triple H and pitches some idea, do you think Triple H is going to listen? Triple H with his 20-something years in the business, he's going to be like, I know what I'm doing. And, he's probably going to listen. He's going to thank him for it. But at the end of the day, it's like, I got a plan. You'll hear that especially as a up and coming wrestler.
You're on a need to know basis, basically.
Yeah. I have a plan, and this. I mean, you don't see where I'm going with it, but just play the part that you're given,
and you'll see. Yeah. Bobaruski says, let's be honest, even Hunter has his huge ego. We've heard stories of guys getting heated with Hunter business-wise. And thank you all for the kind words about the shirt. Don't forget, you can get your heel turn imminent shirt.
This probably would have been the one time it's okay to wear the same shirt, because I literally almost put that shirt on. But I decided to go with my Colt Cabana t-shirt.
There you go. That'll work too. Running NXT isn't the same as 5 hours of live weekly TV.
That is true.
Thank you very much, Raven's Blood. I've been saying that forever. And that's not a knock against NXT or a knock against Triple H's ability to run the main roster. But it's not the same thing. It's nobody's doing what WWE is doing right now. And that's not an excuse for them. And that's not to say, well, you can't give them a hard time. No, you give them a hard time because they're putting out shitty programming. But at the same time, let's remember, this is a lot of shit. Not that they can't fix it. At least you would think that they could. They're still going to be, says Bobaruski, those yes men in Triple H's ear with a company that big. You'll still have stupid shit going on. Totally agree.
There's no one person that's going to fix it. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. And I'm sorry, a company that generates billions of dollars on a global level isn't fucking broke. I mean, it's not broke. So there's no need to fix it. There's no need for anyone on the higher level to do anything different than what they're doing that's generating billions of dollars.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's give a quick shout out to everybody joining us here tonight.
Shout out.
Bobaruski, Get the Tables. Thank you, Get the Tables. Even more bits coming from Get the Tables. Thank you very much.
Have a good show, guys.
We will. Thank you very much, and thank you for the bits. So shout out to Get the Tables, Bobaruski, Jody Mania, our mods here tonight. Apple Bad Apple, good to see you. Alice, Foz Gino Fan, Heather, that's Millimac, of course. Bill Juanito Lurks, Lizzie Freak, our new follower. Thank you very much, Mr. AEW. Peck and Rod's here, Raven's Blood. All of you guys, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. And back to Mr. AEW's comment about how another long story that Moxley told was about when he was injured, and he had all these ideas for his comeback. And he said he took this idea from Jericho himself to actually fly out to Connecticut and meet with Vince about his comeback and say, I just want to sit with you man to man and discuss, here's some ideas that I have. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. And he was like, and at the end of it, basically all they did was have me come out and stand ringside while Seth had a match.
Yeah.
He was kind of disappointed. There's a problem when you have guys in the locker room and a plant is getting more TV time, says Bill. True. That's true. Moxley getting paid $500 for the Shield special. What the fuck? Nothing like a slap in the face, says Jody Mania. Yeah, he mentioned that as well. Bobaruski says he got out of WWE before it burned his whole love and passion, unlike some others, and that's most definitely true.
CM Punk.
Yeah. Trillamadude, what's up, my boys? My prize came in this week. Big thanks. You are very welcome, sir. Wrestle Trivia prize winner Trillamadude. All you guys are winning shit on Wrestle Trivia. I won't be here tomorrow night with Wrestle Trivia, unfortunately, because getting ready to leave for the vacation. And speaking of which, it's going to be our last show for 2 weeks, Silky.
I know. What will I do?
No shows next week. And we are back 2 weeks from today when I return from New Mexico, Utah, national parks, all kinds of crazy shit.
Nice.
Driving across America with the in-laws.
Oh, still nice.
But it's my wife and son. My in-laws are cool. They're super laid back, so it'll be fun. Didn't Jericho say WWE offered him shit money for an appearance? I don't know about that, Bobaruski. We shall see. But check it out on Talk is Jericho if you want to hear more from Jon Moxley. It really is a good interview. And again, if you're a WWE fan and you're afraid this is just going to be another guy who's just crushing WWE, again, I really didn't get that sense at all. I got the impression that this is a guy who just genuinely felt like what he wanted to do wasn't what WWE wanted to do, and they parted on good terms.
Yeah.
And so be it,
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Let's get the Silky and Benchmark Discord active again. Yeah, exactly, Trillamadude. Yeah, we do have a Discord, by the way, if you guys want to jump on with that. We'll get to that here shortly, but for now, let's get to the top 5 wrestlers of the week, as we do every week, right here on the program from our very own Silky Baines. It's this week's Benchmark Power Rankings. Here we go. Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of May 26th, 2019. The top 5 wrestlers of the week, according to our very own Benchmark Silky Baines. A lot of stuff going on this week. We had, of course, Double or Nothing this past Saturday, and some big matches on Raw and SmackDown in advance of next week's Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. So lots to get to, Silky.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Kick things off with number 5.
Number 5, Hangman Page, winner of the 21-man over the
Casino Battle Royale.
Yeah, they keep changing. I guess because they're trying to do something with it, it sounded bad to have it be called the Over the Budget Battle Royal.
Yeah.
So the Casino Royale Battle Royal, he is going to be wrestling for the AWE World Heavyweight Championship.
The AEW.
Huh?
That's okay. You said AWE.
I said AWE.
Yeah. You've been hanging around me too long.
I know.
I was going to let it slide, but you point out all my mistakes. So, and get on your fucking side of the table again. But anyway.
First of all, this is my fucking... Do you see Speez anywhere there under us? No. This is the Benchmarks time. So shut the fuck up. Anyway, Hangman Page.
At number 5, let's move on to number 4 on this week's Benchmark Power Rankings.
Chris Jericho, who got his win back, and I thought it was a great match with him and Kenny Omega, and is the second participant for the AEW World Championship. I'm really looking forward to this match. I mean, I called it that this match would happen, so if I could, not to toot my own horn, but
you will, because that's what you do.
Oh, one job, Speez. One more time.
Oh, sorry. I'll make sure to crank it up loud enough so that everybody can hear it. So,
But yeah. I'm really looking forward to that match, and I feel like, this is a big way to make... I'm pretty sure Paige is winning, but because, they said they're... it's part of, what their mission statement almost was that they're not just going to be putting guys that are, so
part
to speak,
of their little crew or whatever.
Yeah, that are WWE, ex-WWE guys. So I feel like this is Paige's coming out party, and he's going to kill it. So,
and not to mention, and credit to Chris Jericho, he's one of the great self-promoters.
Yes,
in wrestling
history.
He
will make this match.
This guy knows how to not only promote himself, but promote his opponents and whatever federation he happens to be working for, and keep himself in the news by interviewing Jon Moxley and getting that on his podcast. So the guy's got it all going on. He's doing great. No issues with that one. All right, let's move on to number 3 on this week's Benchmark Power Rankings.
I can see, because of everybody's overwhelming fucking distaste that he wasn't on the countdown. There you go. Stop bitching. R-Truth is on the countdown, people. He did lose, but he got his 24/7 title back.
That he did.
And, just being featured like that, tagging with Roman Reigns and stuff, I thought it was a good look for him. I'm still not a fan of this whole 24/7 title thing, but whatever. Here it is. No more bitching. R-Truth was on the countdown. Yeah,
no doubt about it. And totally agree with you. To be on the main event of Monday Night Raw, even if you're tagging with Roman Reigns, that's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Good for him for getting some shine and some much-deserved love, because R-Truth just seems like a great guy. He just seems like an outstanding guy, so good for him. All right, moving on to number 2 this week.
Number 2, the American Nightmare, Cody. I think that match was the match of the night for me.
Man, that was something.
Because it had emotions. It had it had you in your feels a little bit.
A lot of it.
Yeah. And just the throwback to old school wrestling, the blood, but it was a lot of blood, but it wasn't like barbaric.
Yeah.
Like you see generally when you get blood nowadays, it's in some kind of gimmick match.
Some kind of death match or some shit like that.
Yeah. And so here, it takes it back to the old school of shit happens. In the ring, shit can happen, and, so you can bleed. So I thought that was good. How they handled it. It was, he bled a lot. So it was a little much, but it was still like I said, there was nothing barbaric about it. I mean,
no, not at all.
It wasn't like getting hit several times, like 13 fucking times with a steel chair.
Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, it's told a great story. Cody got the win. We got the moment where we're going to get Cody and Dustin against the Young Bucks. So, great job. And it's another way, since Cody does not own the rights to Cody Rhodes for some reason, it's another way to get around that and have them Cody and Dustin Rhodes, since Dustin has it.
That works as well. And shout out to him for a damn fine job on their first ever pay-per-view as well. But there can only be one, number one. And on this week's Benchmark Power Rankings, it is
Baron fucking Corbin.
So
Eat a dick, people.
Just throwing the grenade right in the middle of the fucking chat.
This guy is money when it comes to heel. The best heel there is in the game right now. I'm calling it Baron Corbin. And he's got this big match with Seth at Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. I think that was the best move. We know he's not going to win the title. I don't see him I see him being a future champion down the line, but right now, no. But he's a great opponent for Seth to make Seth look really good and, well, better than he normally does. So.
I'm just looking at the comments. Corbin sucks. Juanito says, finally. Alice says, Corbin sucks, Silky. And Jody Mania says, nope, I eat no dicks. So, yes, and Gino Fan says, thank God we didn't have to riot with Shane on the list. He said if Shane McMahon was actually on the list, then we would have to riot.
I actually thought about putting Shane on the list just to fuck with you guys.
Of course he did, because that's what he does on the Benchmark Power Rankings.
Sometimes I do use it to fuck with people, but I think it's a very solid power rankings.
It was a very solid power rankings. It was
a great power rankings.
Let's recap it here for everybody, starting with number 5.
Hangman Page. Number 4, Chris Jericho. Number 3, R-Truth. Number 2, Cody. And number 1, Baron Corbin. Kill yourselves.
There you go. This week's Benchmark Power Rankings right here on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. I want to get back up to Mr. AEW's comment, who says, you guys need a Speez emote.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? Here's the thing.
Do.
Here's the thing, Mr. AEW. We're 4 subscribers away from getting our next emote, so we can have a second emote. You know, we got the Silky one going right now. So if you're a subscriber, you get access to the Silky emote, and in case you don't know, you get increased odds of winning the prizes on our Wrestle Trivia show on Thursday nights. Plus, you don't have to look at ads or any of that kind of bullshit. There's all kinds of good stuff. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, again, your subscription here to the program is free. So if we get 4 more subscribers, then we'll get that Speezy mode up there for you guys.
Jay Flashman 2. I guess he's new. I've never.
How are you not talking about the Rhodes brothers teaming up? That was a great match.
It.
Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit, Jay Flashman, but welcome to you.
We'll talk about it some more.
We will definitely talk about it some more.
It was an amazing match, and I'm looking forward to them against the Young Bucks to see how they pull this off, because Young Bucks are also great at selling and bringing emotion to the match.
Yeah, I think the only way that tag match works is if those two are brothers, because otherwise a guy like me would have totally been bitching about the fact that Cody and Dustin have basically been talking shit about each other. Yeah, I mean, somewhat respectfully because they're brothers.
Yeah.
But, you know, having 2 guys that have this bloody, you know, just nasty, hard-hitting match, and then right afterwards they're like, but hey, I need a tag team partner, and I'm looking at you, pal. I would be like, fuck that. What are we doing here? Like, what's the deal? The fact that they're brothers, it worked. And that was, you talk about getting hit in the feels. I mean, that was an emotional moment. Yeah, those really 2 guys came together. It was great.
So, and I think that they'll play up more of it, because the wording I would have used is like, the Young Bucks are, like he said, he thinks the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team in the world right now. And the only way, you know, the whole I Need My Brother was great. But, I mean, the only way we're going to beat them is we've got to work together. Like, the only people that can beat these brothers, because they're brothers, they're really good at what they do, is us. Yeah. Because we're brothers, we're really good at what we do, and we have way more knowledge. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a great show, or a great match once it happens at the Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah. And that's what Ravensblood said. Cody's promo was great, very emotional, and yeah, exactly. And like you said, they sold it. They sold it well. Jody Mania says, poor Shane thinks he's the best in the world. Must be god-awful to live with such delusions. That's true. Alice loves her some Shane McMahon. She loves Shane McMahon. And I'm seeing from Bob Aruski that they took Pac off the flyer for Firefest. That's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
I hope they get that worked out, man.
Yeah.
Because Pac was one of the guys that I was really excited about getting to see on a week-to-week basis. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
Luchasaurus is signed.
Yeah,
that
Luchasaurus.
Huge and can move.
Yes, he definitely
Actually,
can.
he's going to be down here soon.
I was going to say, and he's coming to Houston. So if you're in or around Texas, you should come on down and see Luchasaurus.
Thanks, July 20th. Go to Bustin' for Autism's Facebook page, and you'll get all the details about it.
Yeah. But
Luchasaurus will be in Houston.
The Briscoes need to cross over, says Shroomagoon. Welcome, Shroomagoon. Good to have you with us.
Shroomagoon.
And let's get to Sasha Reigns, Mela Max power rankings. Number 5, she had Jericho. Number 4, R-Truth. Number 3, Cody. Number 2, Moxley. And number 1, Baron Corbin.
So, I mean, not
too far off. Yeah, and she didn't have Seth Rollins in her top 5. That's something.
That is something.
But okay. They're not working it out anytime soon. He must win every match, says Jay Flashman, talking about Pac. Yeah, I mean, I hope they work it out. Are y'all going to talk about Lars Sullivan versus the Lucha House Party?
No.
That's a whole lot of fucking no. That's ridiculous.
Just no.
Yeah, it's just silly. But we are going to talk about NXT TakeOver 25 coming up this weekend from Connecticut. And again, it is a very slim card, as NXT is wont to do. And I love that. I love that every match on the card is given its opportunity to steal the show and shine. That motherfucker had his Twitter deleted. Is Pac the problem or Dragons? Yeah, that's a good question. There you go. Mac Diesel, big Silky Baines fan.
832.93 Silky. Mr. Baines rules.
I love the fact that he says 832.
I always have.
Uh-oh. Gino fan.
There, I said it.
Thank you very much, Raven's Blood, for gifting a sub here on the pro. And you guys can gift subs as well.
Gino fan gifted a sub to
Ravens gifted Blood. It to Raven's Blood. I had it backwards. Well, thank you, Gino fan, for gifting the sub to Raven's Blood. Now she can use that Silky emote all she wants and win even more shit at Wrestle Trivia, which I pretty much personally started Raven's Blood's what's a little swag collection from all the cool shit that she's run in Wrestle Trivia. Y'all gonna talk about Shane versus Roman? Hopefully not.
But yes.
Fucking Shane. We'll get, since we're not doing a show next week, we technically could go on for like 4 hours and talk about all kinds of shit, but we shall see. How many more before you mark up? Looks like 3 more. Mr. Gino fan. So thank you very much for gifting the sub. I'm always stoked for NXT pay-per-view. Never disappoint. This is where Triple H shows off his talent. Totally agree, Shroomagoon. And you guys make sure that you're following the channel if you haven't done so already. Those of you who are new in the chat, welcome. And give the channel a follow. We would appreciate it. So let's start at the bottom of the card and work our way up. And there he is. Shroomagoon right there following us. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. So, kick things off with Matt Riddle taking on Roderick Strong. Sleeper pick for me as to what could be match of the night. This is going to be an outstanding match.
It's going to be a very hard-hitting match, so I'm very much looking forward to it. Hopefully, they don't do it like they did Dream and Riddle, where they basically make Riddle look like he's head and shoulders above Roderick Strong. I mean, generally for wrestling to work, or not to work, but you've got to believe there's someone can win this. The other guy can win too.
Yeah.
And that's where they missed the mark with the Dream Riddle match, is that it didn't look like it was a back and forth match and, he pulled off the victory. It looked like fucking
Looked like
Matt
Dream
Riddle
was outclassed.
Yeah, he was outclassed
like he was
at every
totally
turn.
outclassed.
And just like they always say, sometimes in life it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, exactly. Now, is that on, and I have to ask you, because those of you who are new, 15-year veteran of the professional wrestling industry, Mr. Baines here, is that on Matt Riddle to a certain extent, or is that just the way that the match was put together?
Yeah, I mean,
they just didn't give Dream the opportunity to get over any believable offense.
I mean, it could be on probably a combination of all three. I mean, because we're not there when the agents are going over what they want with the match. We don't know if that was something that just happened to
Thank you, Peck and Rod, for the bits. Appreciate it, man.
fall flat, like it was meant to be something more than it was, and it basically made Dream look like he doesn't deserve the fucking title, because like I said, Matt Riddle made him look like he basically made him his bitch. Like
He kind of did. Bobarooski's got the bro winning, as does Mela Mac.
yeah,
Jody Mania
bro,
likes Riddle
definitely.
as well. And I want to get back to Jay Flashman's comment. I want to see more Jack Evans and Angelico. That move Evans pulled off, moonsault off of opponent's back, being held up by Angelico, had me speechless. Yeah, he's something to watch,
nothing
man. Yeah.
compared from what I've seen him do.
Yeah, he can do all kinds of crazy shit. It was 90% Riddle and 10% Dream, says Bill. Thank you, Mac Diesel, very much for the bits.
You need to bump that to 100 bits before it goes off.
Okay, so Mac Diesel's saying that we should hire the threshold for the TTS and only have it go off if you give 100 bits.
That could work. I like where you're thinking.
Velveteen Dream escaped that match against Matt Riddle, says Raven's Blood. That finish was surprising.
No, I mean that finish though made Dream look bad in a sense. Like if you have this same match back and forth, but Riddle's just a little bit better, and then he makes that counter. Now Dream's a crafty guy that got the win.
Yeah.
But the way the match went, Dream was a guy that got really fucking lucky, and a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
Riddle keeps talking about how he wants to retire Brock. I'm ready for Brock to be gone and for Heyman to have a stable, says Jay Flashman. He wants to see Riddle against Brock Lesnar. We're a ways away from that one, but
No.
I don't think.
No.
I think you underestimate. It's easy to underestimate just how fucking enormous Brock Lesnar is.
Yes.
And what an enormous weight advantage he would have over a guy like Matt Riddle. And you think, well, there's a couple UFC guys, but it's not a UFC fight.
Yeah.
It's not a UFC fight. So it could actually work in the sense of if you book it right, maybe it works out. I don't know. We got a ways to go before we get to that anyway. You got Matt Riddle going over in this one?
Yes, I do.
I got Matt Riddle as well. Let's move on to the NXT North American title match between the returning Tyler Breeze,
Prince of Pretty,
taking on North American champion Velveteen Dream. Now, is this a scenario where we should look at this match and say, well, technically speaking, Tyler Breeze is not a full-time NXT guy, so he's got no shot of winning this thing?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I very much think he has a shot at winning this title. Because, I mean, I don't think... Because remember, back, we were talking about NXT, going back to NXT is not a demotion.
No, it's definitely not. Especially not for a guy like Tyler Breeze.
And NXT is where Breeze thrives. So, I mean, I think it would be a huge pop for Breeze to win. So...
Oh, Negrodamus moment. Here we go. We're getting our second one tonight.
I picked Tyler Breeze to win the North American
You're picking
title.
Tyler Breeze to win the North American title. Those of you who chime in on Wrestle Trivia know that Tyler Breeze is tied with Tyson Kidd for the most NXT title match appearances without a win.
Yes.
Numerous times, Tyler Breeze has had a shot at winning either the NXT championship, or this will actually be his second shot at the North American championship, if you recall, which I forgot at the time.
Yeah.
He had the match against Ricochet when Ricochet was North American champion. I'm kind of with you. I think, first of all, I think it would be great if Tyler Breeze won. I'm actually going to be rooting for Tyler Breeze in that match. I still think Velveteen Dream takes it.
You're still going Velveteen?
I'm still going Velveteen Dream. I think it's going to be a very good match. I hope it's a very good match.
It's going to be a good match.
I'm rooting for Tyler
Sleeper
Breeze,
match.
but I got to go with Dream.
It could be the match of the night.
Shroomgroom says it's the squash match of the night.
It's not a squash match at all.
I don't think it's going to be a squash match either. But Mellamax got Dream going over in that one. Part of me wants to see Breeze win, says Mr. AEW. He's been criminally underused on the main roster, and I'd like to at least see him find success in NXT. Plus, he seems perfect for a title like this, and Dream can bounce back from a loss better than almost anyone on the NXT roster. And that's a very good point.
That is a good
Dream's
point.
not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's still going to be doing just fine if he takes this loss. Also, it'd be cool to get a longer feud out of it between those two. Good take, Mr. AEW. I'm with you.
Yeah,
But
100%.
I'm going to stick with my pick on Velveteen Dream. Then we got a fatal 4-way tag team match for the now vacated, as spoiled by Silky Baines, NXT tag team titles.
That's on me.
That's
Pull the
okay.
R-Truth. That's on me. That's my bad. My bad, y'all.
Dream has to win after what they did to him last match, says Jay Flash. But okay, we'll see. We'll see. All right, so the fatal 4-way for the tag team titles is going to be Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. You've got the Forgotten Sons. The Undisputed Era will be in there one more time, as will our buddy Get the Tables, Tony Slizz's favorite team, the Street Profits. So Silky Baines, you got 4 teams. Which one do you have coming away with the NXT Tag Team Championships at the end of TakeOver 25?
Forgotten Sons.
You got Forgotten Sons. My pick
Forgotten.
to win the Dusty Classic, and they almost won it, got
They
to the
almost.
finals.
I think we both picked them to win it.
Did we both pick them?
Yeah. No, you picked
I
Ricochet.
love you. I
You
always
picked-
Look at this. Look at Gino Fan again,
There, I
Boom.
said it.
gifting more subs. You're a good man, Gino Fan. I don't care what anybody else says about you. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for gifting the sub to Jody Mania, who deserves it. One of the
Yes.
OG fans here on the program.
Gee.
Just got in, so I don't know who wins his. Well, it's not spoiled. Ted. He spoiled the fact that
That the War Raiders.
the War
had
Raider Viking
vacated the
experience,
title.
we're going to vacate the title, so that's
I
no big
did.
deal. So you've got the Forgotten Sons going over.
Yes, I got the Forgotten Sons winning this match.
I'm actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Tell us why.
Because I don't see Undisputed Era winning it a third time. I
don't either.
don't see the Street Profits winning it. And for a surprise thing, maybe Lorcan and Birch would win it. But of all these teams, I think they're really doing something with the Forgotten Sons. So I'm going to go with the Forgotten Sons.
Montez Ford is a badass. Montez Ford is badass. Love that guy. I don't think the Street Profits are going any. What did you do? Did you unplug your headphones?
I did.
Well, that's okay. I'm sitting right next to you, so you can still hear me. You don't have to hear your. But
There
you
you
like to
go.
hear your Negro Damas music when you hit the
I
button,
do.
don't you? I figured as much. I love Montez Ford. I think that guy's great. I think the Street Profits have, I don't want to say paid their dues, but they've been around long enough to where you could buy the Street Profits as being tag team champs.
No.
They won the Evolve Tag Team Championships.
Wow.
Don't act like that's not a big thing. That's a huge thing for them.
Yeah. That and 25 cents will get them a cup of coffee.
Exactly. I'm going with the Street Profits. Maybe I've been hanging out in the Get the Tables chat too long.
Maybe you have because, I mean, I don't see them winning at all.
You don't see them winning at all. There's some love to our buddy. Get on the fucking side of the thing. There. See the line? You see the line there, Silky? That fucking line right there. See that line?
Hold on.
Right
Wait.
Right there.
I'm reaching in my pockets. Nope. Fresh out of fucks to give.
Yeah, exactly. Shut up! All right, let's move on. Forgotten Sons have been in NXT forever, just not on TV, says Jay Flashman. Well,
Yeah.
certainly, Wesley Blake's been there forever.
Yep.
That's for sure. Tony needs the Profits to win, or he needs to shave his head, says Jody Mania. Well, I don't know about all that, but hey, you never know. Maybe he'll go along with it. I doubt it. Get him to shave his beard. Maybe that'll get him going. Oh, there he is. Get the tables right there. Just watch. He's calling it right now. Street Profits. Are the Street Profits pushed on NXT at all? Haven't watched in a while. From time to time.
Every now. That's why I don't see them winning. I mean, their biggest thing they've done to date was like the little mini feud they had with Sabatino and Riddick Moss.
They had a nice match against the Viking War Raider experience.
A match, but I mean, as far as doing anything of value, no, they haven't done anything
I'm
of
going
value.
Street Profits.
They're a fucking ripoff of Crime Time.
It's not a ripoff. Of
They
Crime Time.
are a PG era ripoff of fucking Crime Time.
I'm going with Street Profits, Tony. I'm sticking with you. Our buddies from Get the Tables. We're going with it. Silky's got the Forgotten Sons. Let's move on to the women's title match. Shayna Baszler, who seems like she's had this thing forever, and rightfully so because she's a badass, taking on Io Shirai. And everybody wants some Io Shirai. Everybody loves Io Shirai. A lot of people picking her to win this one. It's time to move on to somebody else. Time for Baszler to move on to the main roster, so on and so forth. Agree or disagree? Who you got winning the women's championship?
I want to say Baszler. I really do, but I do think, like you say, because of the fact that I think she's soon to be on the main roster, I do think that Io Shirai takes the belt off of her.
We've fallen into this trap before.
We have.
Where we've said, it's time for Baszler to move on. It's time for Baszler to move on to the main roster, or she's had the title for a while now. Somebody else is going to come in and take it from her, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. And, I mean, it'd be nice to have her beat these. It's apparently all you got to be is like Japanese or one of the Mises, because I don't know.
One of the Mises.
Yeah. EO's,
Are you going to finish that thought?
Yeah, EO's Japanese, right?
Yes.
And so is Kyrie. So Japanese.
So all you have to be is Japanese to
beat Baszler. Because think about it. That's the only one she's losing to. She lost to Kyrie Sane, and she's probably going to lose to Io Shirai.
You got to be careful with these things. So some guy on the Golf Channel ate a big shit burger on Twitter today because he said something about how they asked him who was going to win the LPGA event this weekend. He's like, I couldn't even name 4 chicks on the LPGA. But I bet it's a Korean girl. Because like half the top 20 is Korean girls, and they ate his fucking lunch, man. So you got people, you're telling people to kill themselves, number one.
No, I'm not.
Which is a no-no.
I'm not telling people to kill themselves.
And apparently the only way to beat Shayna Baszler is to be Japanese.
I mean, that's facts.
From Silky.
Facts.
Jesus
Who has Shayna Baszler lost to? Kyrie Sane.
She has lost to Kyrie Sane. This is
and
true.
What is Kyrie Sane?
I would assume she's Japanese.
Okay. And possibly what I'm predicting is Io Shirai. What is Io Shirai?
Last time I checked, I believe she's Japanese. As
so
you said, Silky, she's
mean?
One of the Eases, as you say. What would the other Eases be?
It sounds racist when you say it.
How does it sound racist when I say it?
Because you have a white face to it.
Holy shit. I walked right into that one. I should have known it was coming.
Boom. But
I'm going with Shayna Baszler. You know why? Because I think Shayna Baszler is going to win. That's why. Don't even start with your shit with me. Alistair Fiend says he's tired of Shayna. One of the knees is exactly. You can't say it because he's put a white face to it. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, my goodness. Here's Mr. AEW again. Hopefully, Io wins the title here. The Shayna and Friends thing is getting stale, and if NXT won't let Io fucking Shirai, arguably one of the top 3 female wrestlers in the world, go over Shayna, then who the fuck is left? Because Shayna's cleaned out most of the rest of the division. Also, Io even has the added story point of wanting to avenge Kyrie. Shayna has nothing left to do in NXT as champion. She's just spinning her wheels creatively, and they could always turn Io heel later and have something or other that he ran out of words.
I think that's a valid take.
That's a very valid take.
Very
totally
valid
agree.
take.
That said, I still think Baszler's going to win because
I think I'm going Io.
She keeps winning these matches. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Io, but I've gotten burned by not picking Shayna Baszler before, so I'm going to pick her now. Which brings us to the main event of the evening. That would be the rematch of Johnny Gargano taking on Adam Cole. Thank you very much, Adam Cole, baby. This match was a little crazy last time. We talked about it here on the program, and it was one of those matches where Johnny Gargano got hit with every fucking move in the history of professional wrestling, just about, and kicked out of everything. And it was just completely absurd at some point. Like, at some point, the moves have to mean something. They have to mean something, and you would have had to shoot Johnny Gargano with a fucking bazooka to beat him that night.
He still would have kicked out.
And he did. And Adam Cole,
1, 2, and then the arm would have flew up.
Did not have a bazooka handy, so Johnny Gargano won the NXT Championship on the rematch, Silky. A lot of people going to say Adam Cole just because they like to say. What do you think?
Gargano retains.
I think Gargano retains as well.
I think so. I mean, it's too early. You did all this build to get him to the championship. For him to fucking lose it in his first defense, really? His first big defense?
We've seen it before at NXT.
I mean, we have seen it before, but I don't see it. I don't think so. I'm going with Gargano to win this match.
There's an argument I think that can be made, although I wouldn't necessarily agree with either one, that either Adam Cole or Johnny Gargano is at a point in their NXT careers where you could say this is the end of the line for them. It's time for them to move on to bigger and better things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a fair argument for either one of those guys. I don't think we're quite there yet. Obviously, you can say Adam Cole hasn't won the title yet, so he can stick around for that. But let's face it, Adam Cole's got no trouble getting over with the audience. You could put him on the main roster tomorrow, and they would go ape shit, and he would be just fine. It's a little trickier with Gargano, but I still think he would be just fine as well. So as far as that goes, I think you could make a fair argument for either one of those guys winning.
Oh, Jay Flashman, I like his take. That's pretty interesting.
I have Gargano losing, and the end of the match, Roderick Strong costs Cole the match. And then
he meant winning.
Oh.
He put it on the second one.
Oh,
so he has Gargano winning at the end of the match. Strong costs Cole, and then the Undisputed Era turn on Cole, thus making Cole. I mean, he's already pretty much like a baby. I think that's a great idea.
We've said this before. You've said this before. We give you your due on this one. The difficult thing about trying to bring heels up to the main roster is that people are so invested in NXT wrestlers, whether they're faces or heels, that by the time they come up to the main roster, people are crazy excited and they're going to cheer for them because they're happy that they're there. I'm totally with you, Jay Flashman. I think that's a fantastic idea because if you move Adam Cole up to the main roster as a fucking babyface, holy shit, they would go nuts for that. And then if you want to turn him heel down the line, so be it. But yeah, you're absolutely right on with that take. It's so hard to sell an NXT heel when they first come up to the main roster because people are excited to see them there.
The only one that really worked was Drew, but that's because Drew was in the system a long time ago, so, and as a heel. So it's not that big of a stretch. But, you get Bobby Roode, who fans watched him for 10 fucking years in Impact, flailing away, and then finally makes it to the big show, and then finally gets over immensely as a heel, and then gets called to the main roster, and it's fucking like, you feel like you're part of that moment. Like, I've watched this dude. It's no different than, watching someone, a friend that plays basketball, because I'm black, or golf, I'm assuming is what your people play. Anyway.
Your people.
Anyway, watching someone you grew up with that plays some sport really well make it to the professional level, even though you have nothing to do with it, you feel almost like part of that moment for him because you watched him in all of his struggles just to get to that point.
Fair enough. I could definitely see Vince not fucking understanding baby. What the fuck is that shit? Just say baby.
That's a good one.
Bobberisky, that's definitely good. So anyone got any guesses on who will be in the crowd for this takeover, says Mr. AEW. Shane Strickland, perhaps? Yeah, you could maybe see Shane Strickland. You'd also got, why am I blanking on his name? I want to say EC3, but it's not EC3. Homeboy from here in Texas, Austin.
Oh, ACH.
ACH, Jesus. Why the fuck did I blank on his name? Yeah. ACH might very well be there.
Probably will be there. Shout out to ACH.
Shroomgoon makes a good comparison. Another guy that killed it coming up as a heel was Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he did.
Because you put Kevin Owens, the way you bring up a guy as a heel out of NXT is you put him in a feud against John Cena.
Yeah.
Automatic heel. Or you, in this day and age, you put him in a feud against Roman Reigns. Automatic heel at that point. That could work. Joey Ryan will not be in the audience, Jay Flashman, I'm sorry to say. WWE, where call-ups don't mean shit. That's true. Do you guys think Cole gets called up? They replace him on Undisputed and Undisputed Era because, Saved by the Bell, the college years. Stop it.
Okay.
Can't have Michael Cole and Adam Cole both in. All right, well, if the crowd...
Michael Cole, baby.
If we got a Michael Cole, baby, that would be fucking hilarious. I have two things, says Jay Flashman. One, I personally think of all the people they move up to the main roster, very few make it long-term from NXT. What WWE does to incredible talent is the reason AEW will do well. And number two, Heyman gets the largest pops for a non-wrestler. It's unheard of. Give him a stable. And I got no problem with the idea of a Paul Heyman stable.
I think the whole stable thing, though, is antiquated, so I don't know if that gets over in today's wrestling.
It gets over in Japan.
I mean, but it's a
different culture.
Yeah,
like
that's
you said.
a different culture.
Train together.
Dudes.
They do.
So, they're a stable, but they're not. The only actual real kind of stable, was the Bullet Club. Everyone else is just like a bunch of people who just say,
kind of team up together.
Yeah, it's
call
like,
themselves something.
Yeah, it's like, because inherently you're going to have a bunch of tag team matches, so you got to at least have a reason so it doesn't seem like you're just randomly putting people together. So it's like, oh yeah, we're all chaos.
Yeah.
Or, so, but I think the stable thing won't work, in my opinion, in this day and age, because, you're only going to feature one or two people. And then you oversaturate the market with Paul Heyman, and then too much Paul Heyman is bad. If he's managing like 3 people, so you see him 3 separate times each night, it's going to be too much.
Yeah, I'm with you. But if there's a guy that could pull it off, Paul Heyman could probably pull it off. I'm with you as far as that goes, Jay Flashman. You guys think WWE would sign Priscilla Kelly? She was in the Mae Young tournament. She's Paige, but not injured. No offense to Paige. No, I don't think they will sign Priscilla Kelly.
Isn't that the tampon chick?
That's the tampon chick.
Oh.
I think she pretty
Will we
much
get in trouble for calling her the tampon chick?
No, if you're going to feed someone a tampon during a match, you get called the tampon chick.
Yeah.
You're worried about that, but you're not worried about saying your people play golf or one of the Neeses.
I said eases.
You said one of the Neeses,
No,
but
I said one of them eases.
one of them eases, is that what it was? I'll tell you what it was.
It's a goddamn abortion and a disgrace.
It's exactly what it was. No, I don't think Priscilla Kelly is coming this way. Just want to send a shout out to all of you guys for dropping those bits tonight. Got a couple new followers, got a couple new subs, thanks to our friend Gino Fan for Life. So shout out to you, Gino Fan, for gifting a couple subs here this evening. We appreciate that. Shout out to Mac Diesel, Peck and Rod, and Get the Tables, dropping that 1K bit bomb on us earlier today. We appreciate that. And to Shroom Goon and Lizzie Freak for following the channel. If you're not following us here,
follow us
here on Twitch. And again, if you got Amazon Prime, burn that Amazon Prime free subscription to the Speez and the Benchmark show here. We're 2 subs away from getting our second emote, the Speez emote. The Angry Speez emote. You got the Smiling Silky emote. You're going to get the Angry Speez emote because that's what I do. You want to taste the tuna. Damn it, Jody.
Damn.
I was trying to avoid
That's
that fucking image again.
fish taco.
Damn it. Anything to help you guys mark up to the next level so we can get your emote. Thank you very much, Gino Fan. We appreciate it. And thank you, Mr. AEW, for the kind words.
And Ted FX, it wasn't Paul Heyman. That was Zeb Coulter.
Yeah.
That had Cesaro and Swagger. At one point, Vicky kind of had a mini stable when she had Dolph Ziggler and Swagger. But
what's the last WWE stable? I mean, you probably have to go to
well, I guess it depends on
not Nexus.
Well, Nexus was a stable.
Yeah, but was that the last one? Has there been one since then?
Well, I mean, depends on what your definition of fucking stable. Like, how many people does it take?
Let's say 4 guys.
Okay, then yeah, it'd have to be probably Nexus.
Okay.
And yep, Nexus would be it.
Look at that. Alice says our favorite 2 guys.
Yes.
How about that, Alice? We appreciate it. What if the Attitude Era was not because of Attitude, but the stables? Nation of Domination, the Corporation, the Ministry of Darkness, the Corporate Ministry, so on and so forth. That's some good stuff going on for sure.
They really did.
But we're not getting that back anytime soon, unfortunately, but it happens. The B Team is not a stable, Shroom Groon. Stop it right now. We're not going to talk about the B Team.
The ones that beat the Revival.
Stop it. You'll stop it right now. What are you doing?
No.
I'm glad you enjoy that.
I do. I'm
glad you enjoy that.
One more time.
No.
There it is. God damn it.
Oh, so good.
Once again, quick programming note. I am headed out this Friday on vacation. I'll be gone for a week and a half. So it will be 2 weeks from tonight when we are finally back on the air for another Speeds and the Benchmark show. You know what we got to do? I was talking to my wife about this earlier. Since you and I suck at the whole social media thing.
Yeah.
I suck because I post shit that sucks. You suck because you don't do it.
I don't do it. I don't.
We need to find some youngster out there that kicks ass at social media and start running our shit.
We do.
That'd be good. Do we have to pay him?
No.
Okay, so if you want to not get paid to run our social media account, let us know. Dude, Houston is better. F Florida. Well, I'm not going to Florida, Ted. I'm driving through New Mexico, going up to Utah.
Oh, League of Nations Maybe that was
Oh,
it.
yeah, there you go.
forgot
And
about
that was Zeb
that.
Coulter as well.
Yeah, that was Zeb Coulter as well. Well, no, he wasn't part of that. He left at that point.
Well, yeah, that's right,
Yeah,
because he
Del
was
Rio
there with
bounced.
Alberto Del Rio,
Yeah.
but then, yeah, I got you. I remember. If anybody follows Jim Cornette's podcast, I ordered the Manscaped Lawnmower 2.0.
You ordered the lawnmower?
Awesome. Yes, we do follow Jim Cornette's podcast.
Yes, we do.
It's very cool. Have my son run it, says TedFX. Yeah, he's only 14. I don't have him on the social media just yet. I'm trying to keep him away from that shit as long as possible since it's such a
Plus, I mean,
cesspool.
some of our stuff he probably shouldn't be letting his kid listen to this, but
hashtag
David's
good
great.
parenting. That's what we do.
Hashtag, yeah, good parent. I mean, I would do the same. My kids just don't.
Give a shit.
Yeah, they don't give a shit at all.
Yeah, that's true.
They're terrible.
Thank you,
people.
Alice and Jody, for the kind words about the vacation. So we will see you guys back in 2 weeks. Enjoy NXT TakeOver this weekend. Enjoy Saudi Arabia show next Friday, Super Showdown. We'll have plenty to talk about when we get back. And in the meantime, if you would continue to do us a solid and spread the good word to all your people. If you got any friends and family that are wrestling fans, send them our way.
Oh yeah, the authority too.
There you go.
Boom.
Trying to get up to 100 follows here on Twitch. It's been here for a couple of months. So we've been doing all right. And we're getting there. And we're getting there with our subscriptions as well. So thank you to all of you guys who support the show here. Even if you can't support us by dropping bits and subs and so on and so forth. Just spreading the good word has been an enormous help. We are very grateful for that. So, Silky, anything else you want to get out there? You got 2 weeks before you're going to get to talk to the people again.
Let's see. White bread. Vanilla face.
This would be all the
yeah.
AKA.
Yeah.
Get those out of the way right now.
Yeah. Tartar sauce complexion.
Tartar sauce complexion.
Yes. There we go.
I put it up there for you just so you have it
White
right
boy
there.
Chris, the white problem, the white Willie, the white Bronco, White Knee Houston. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
White privilege, white knight on the chessboard, powder white, tall glass of white milk. Son of a white man. That's
Can you
The Ritz
imagine
cracker,
if I came on
silver
here
beer,
and was like,
vanilla cake.
hey, how's it going? Here's Silky Baines, Blackie McBlacksalad, Darky McBlackskin over here, Captain Charcoal,
Skin,
shit
yeah.
like that. Like, what
Casper,
the fuck is that?
The man with the same complexion as
Louis
Casper.
C.K. says, God damn it.
Yeah, that would make. That's what I say. You put a white face on it, it's racist. That's why when you say one of the Mises,
Stop it.
It
That
sounds
is so
fucking
completely
racist.
ridiculous. I
It
can't
does.
believe
You guys can tell me. Did it not sound racist when he said one of those Eases? It sounded
it
completely.
did not sound racist. It sounded
sounded
exactly the same as it
completely
sounded
racist.
when you said it.
Sounded completely racist because you put a white face to it.
What up, fellas? I come in and you bastards go on vacation, says Bounty Hunter. Sorry about that, man. But yes, we will be back 2 weeks from tonight. So in the meantime, don't forget about us.
Yeah, the Grand Master. I forgot the Grand Wizard.
We're not doing the Grand Wizard. Look at Jay Flashman following the channel
David
here before we
Duke.
get it. Stop it with that shit. Not okay. Not cool at all. But we will be back 2 weeks from tonight right here on the Speez and the Benchmark. So thank you, Jay Flashman, for the follow, and thank all of you guys for watching here tonight. Spread the good word, and we will see you 2 weeks from tonight right back here on the Speez and the Benchmark show. Good night, everybody.
Milky.
Milky, get the